Okay, so I definitely want a skull. Can you do a skull?
Sure.
But wait, can you put it in, like, a jester's hat to symbolize all the wacky jokes I like to tell?
Yeah, I could do that.
You think people are gonna get that?
Get what?
That I like to tell jokes now and then. Actually, could you write ha a bunch of times next to it? I think it'll be easier for people to understand the skull and what a funny guy I am.
Just a bunch of ha's?
Yeah, and can you do it in like a jagged, handwritten way, but clean? I want it to look casual, but still nice, you know?
Yeah, I do a lot of lettering work. I can make it look good.
Also, I've been really into clown stuff lately, so if you could put some big clown lips on my arms, that would be cool.
You want those smiling?
Yeah, you know, I think you really understand me.
Anything else you wanted?
I almost forgot the most important part. I would like the word damaged on my forehead because I'm all messed up, you know?
Damaged?
Yeah, because I'm all messed up.
Sure.
Because I'm all messed up. Can you do that in, like, a nice cursive? If it's gonna be on my forehead, I want it to look good for, like, job interviews and stuff.
Yeah, I'll show you the font book. You can choose one.
Great. Well, I'm really excited about my new look. People will finally understand that I'm all messed up, you know?
You're all messed up.
My mom is gonna freak.
Welcome to Flyby Films, a once or twice a month podcast or field recording, whichever you prefer, where using the magic of the internet or some magical shit like that, my friend Blake Collier and I get together to discuss films that have been or will be forgotten. I'm Jamison Barsotti. Blake, how have you been doing?
Doing good. We are recording on a Wednesday night, which means we are officially past the hump of the week.
Yes.
It is supposedly downhill from here, but Thursdays are always painful for whatever reason. So.
Well, I have a 3-day weekend, and I'm taking Friday off. So tomorrow is my Friday. So it's not.
Must be nice.
Yeah, it is real nice. I'm just rubbing it in. So,
No, fine. Yeah.
That's all.
You know what? Fuck you.
Thanks, Blake.
You're welcome. Anytime.
All right. Well,
I mean, I technically got Monday off this week, so
hey.
because weather and daycare is canceled, and so I got to take care of the kids, which I don't know if that's technically taking the day off.
No.
It's basically a different kind of work.
No. I get to take Friday off.
Off.
It's a gift.
Like, no kids.
Well, my kid is going to be around, which is great. I love seeing him. But this weekend is... Actually, let's get into it. This weekend is part of a Christmas gift I got from my wife.
Oh.
She presented to me on Christmas a ticket, an online pass.
Oh, yes, I know what this is.
To the Sundance Film Festival. And what it came with was a pass to 10 movies. Now, they have a limited number of movies that are playing online, and I have 4 days to watch all 10 movies. So part of the gift was if I could take a day off Friday, then I basically get to kind of spend most of the day watching movies. And
heck yeah.
Yeah, so I made a schedule, and I opened it up to friends and family, and so it's just kind of drop in if people are interested in these movies. I would have. Do you want me to send you the schedule?
I can't. I've got work.
You've got
There's
work.
No way. I mean, send me the schedule, yes, but there's no way in the hell I'm gonna be able to join it.
No. I mean, you can't. You have to be here in person because I can't. Well, I guess I could telecast it in. I could Skype it in. Do you want to watch it from a screen on Skype?
No.
That might help your week or your work week go by faster.
Dude, that would basically just make me want to watch it instead of work. and that doesn't help anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, it helps me until I lose my job because I didn't work, but I still charge time to the company.
You're not, Blake. You're too valuable. You're too big to fail.
I'm too. You
That's
say I'm fat.
No.
Yeah, that's what they all say, and then I somehow become too small
Yeah. No.
and invaluable or non-valuable.
This is exactly why I took the day off, so that I didn't have to deal with that. But
yeah. No,
anyway.
it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Send me the schedule. I mean, I expect a little short rundown for the Flyby Films feed.
Yeah, I don't.
No, seriously, just a minute saying this movie sucks. This movie not bad. This movie fine. This movie awesome. And then just run down the list, and that's it.
The movies I'm most excited about are documentaries, actually. I think there's one where it's called In Search of Mavis Beacon. Did you ever typing with Mavis Beacon? It was like unless I'm pronouncing it wrong or saying it wrong. Mavis Beacon. Yeah. So it was a typing program, and there was kind of this made up figure who was the teacher who taught you to type. And
I don't think so.
The documentary is about finding the model who played Mavis Beacon. I don't know. It's like an 80s nostalgia trip,
Oh yeah, I'm down.
And then there's one documentary that is it's like a day in the life of a Satanist or something like that. And they just follow around this practicing Satanist and they see what they do. So
like Church of Satan.
Yeah, I don't think it's a true worshiper of Satan, but maybe, I don't know.
Not like an Aleister Crowley or some shit like that.
No. Yeah.
Okay. Well, even Aleister Crowley wasn't very Satanist.
Yeah.
I mean, he was more about the sex.
He was more about doing whatever he wanted. I think
doing
he has
the dirties.
He has a
Bumping
line about
uglies.
that. Yeah. So, well, we kind of cut the intro in half, so I'll finish that now. So, if you're still listening, on this episode, we're going to be talking about the film Yojimbo, which...
Yojimbo!
Which is the oldest film we've covered. And...
Is it? Yeah, it is, isn't it? Huh.
Yeah, as of now, I think it's the oldest film we've covered.
Okay.
However, we didn't actually cover it, but we talked about watching the original version of The Lady Killers, and I actually don't know if that's prior to 1961, which is when
I don't remember either. I watched it, but I don't remember if it was prior to 1960. I feel like it was 1950s, but
in any case, we didn't cover it. So
no,
because I failed to watch it, so we didn't talk about it.
It was just extra credit.
But not only is it the oldest movie we've covered so far, it's probably the movie that will take the longest to get forgotten. So
I mean, honestly, to be fair though, I couldn't have told you that this was one of his films because I honestly had never heard of it.
Yeah,
you put it on there. I had to look it up to see what it was, and then I saw it was a Kurosawa, and I was like, oh, okay, this will be good. But I had no reference, and then I saw it was the Sergio Leone,
Fistful of Dollars,
Jack the narrative for a Fistful of Dollars, and I was like, oh, I've seen that before.
Yeah, they actually got sued by the production company.
Toho. Yeah, good for them.
Well, which is kind of funny
Yeah,
because
fuck the Italians.
yeah, fuck the Italians. I wonder what the international lawsuit
Damn Catholics.
rules are. Yeah. But I mean, all of those guys, like Kurosawa blatantly rips off westerns, like John Ford westerns.
It goes back to our thoroughbreds conversation.
Yeah,
Plagiarism.
and then in the later, in the 60s, all the 60s western movies are inspired by Kurosawa movies. So and these are all good.
Now I will say that there is a bit of a truism in that it seems like the first ripoff usually is the best, and then it becomes increasingly derivative with each ripoff afterwards.
That is really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, you think about Fistful of Dollars, it's probably the best of that type of story. The first Magnificent Seven, probably the best version of Seven Samurai.
Mm-hmm.
And then every Magnificent Seven or story that is similar to that is decreasing in quality from that point on.
Well,
not necessarily in like a like completely downhill trajectory. I'm sure it's a little more, uphill, downhill, but it's never quite as good as the first ripoff.
Yeah. I wonder if it has something to do with... So, in the examples we've cited so far, we have Western, Hollywood Western, and then Japanese samurai film that's ripping it off, or Japanese samurai film and then Italian
American
spaghetti Western.
Yeah.
And
or so, American, Western.
Yeah, you have these incredibly different contexts for these movies, and I think it takes a considerable amount of effort to translate them.
Yeah.
And I think in doing that effort, there's probably something gained that's maybe a little intangible too, but shows forth in the quality. So
yeah. And I mean, it's like Nine Inch Nails said in their last full album. Well, you know what you get when you get a copy of a copy. With each copy, it's like Multiplicity. That great film with Michael Keaton.
That great film.
They just keep getting dumber and dumber with each copy. Yeah,
but more and more lovable.
That's
right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
More and more lovable. I mean, I adore the Denzel Washington Magnificent Seven. I think it's a piece of shit, but I adore it.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's
compared
funny
to Steve fucking McQueen. Yeah. No.
Yeah. I mean,
now don't get me wrong. Denzel is better than Steve McQueen, but Denzel's Magnificent Seven not anywhere close to Steve McQueen's Magnificent Seven.
Yeah. It is interesting that you bring up Nine Inch Nails, because I think they have an example of this, or at least them and Johnny Cash with the song Hurt, which is, in fact,
to this day, the only cover that Trent Reznor has any respect for.
I doubt he's heard all of their covers, though. There are probably some.
Yeah. But of the known ones,
sure,
that he would know,
sure,
Johnny Cash is the only one that he was like, no, it's his song now.
Well, because his version is better.
Oh, it is.
Hands down.
Hands down. So
good.
I mean, and plus the music video makes me cry every time. So.
Yeah.
I mean, damn. Yeah, no, it's a great freaking version of the song.
Yeah. Yeah. How do you feel about covers albums? or covers in general. Oh, speaking of covers.
But nonetheless,
Oh, there you are.
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Well, I can't hear you.
Oh, this is wonderful.
Hold on.
I'm holding. I got this, Blake. Well, if you start hearing me, I was going to ask you a question about how you feel about covers. And I think there's a similar principle at play here, where if you just play the same damn song, you're going to get a derivative copy, and it's not going to be good. You have to kind of change up your approach to things.
There we go.
At least that's my opinion on covers. How do you feel about covers and like covers albums?
I generally love them.
Okay.
I mean, I'm a sucker for them, even though I think most covers are not that great. I don't know. There's something about the thrill of the potential of a great cover. Like going into a cover by a person or a group that you really appreciate and wanting to hear what they do with it and if it's interesting at all. And it's about 50-50 probably for me, whether or not it succeeds or not. But I think the potential is enough to get me through most of the heartache of what it ultimately ends up being, which is fine.
Yeah. I was saying
the way I look at it is at least if you're gonna do it differently, don't make it worse. Because I would take you doing a paint by numbers cover over you making it worse.
Oh, I think I'm the opposite. I think I would switch that. I would rather you do something weird that fails.
Oh, I'm fine with weird. I now note I say worse, and that there have been covers where they made all the wrong decisions in how to make how to cover the song. I refuse to listen to that shit.
Okay.
Make it weird as hell, and I'm down. Like, I will probably enjoy it because you took risks, and you're like, fuck it, I'm just gonna do it. I'm usually good with that. But I'm saying, like, there are versions out there of songs that you're just like, what was going through this person's head when they made this? Like, nothing about this works.
See, I guess I generally feel that way about paint by numbers covers, because if you if you try too hard to replicate a great song, you're gonna probably crash and burn.
That's fair.
But if you do it in your own style, you take it, you kind of make it your own. Yeah. But I mean, yeah. Part of me is like, just if you want to make a cover, make a cover. It might be interesting.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It's usually safer not to do a whole covers album.
Yeah, there was an
it's
artist.
It's just better to have a random cover in the midst of an album. That's usually more ideal.
Yeah, there was an artist that I like called Joshua Ray Walker, who is a country artist from Texas, and he released an album last year that was a cover or a covers album of pop songs. And they were all really bad, and I was sad. At least I didn't like them. They didn't work for me. So,
I mean, I don't know what this says about Taylor Swift or my view of Taylor Swift, but I actually prefer Ryan Adams's 1989 to her 1989.
Who wrote that song originally?
No, like he copied the whole album. Like he covered the whole album.
Oh, okay.
And I prefer his version to hers.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything to add there because I've never spent.
I think Ryan Adams is probably a piece of shit.
It
But
sounds
he's at
like
least got
it.
some talent.
Yeah.
So
Who do you think has the biggest talent to piece of shit ratio out there? I don't think I'm doing the correct math in that statement, but I think you get what I'm getting at.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like where the proportions are both moving upward.
The proportions are
Like-
just huge on both
Yeah.
ends. Yeah.
Huge. Man, that's a tough one. Because I can think of people I think are assholes, but their output's not all that great anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I would have to think about that one. Maybe I'll come up with an answer on the next episode.
There's probably someone
I want to say Taylor Swift, but I feel like that's a cop out.
Yeah, probably a cop out. I feel like a lot of people that are famous are probably also assholes. So,
Yeah.
that's a big sweep. Or at least there's a lot of them that there's probably some decent examples in, the groups of musicians we listen to or filmmakers we watch, and so.
But definitely not Toshiro Mifune.
I don't know. Maybe
No,
maybe he was a
No, the greatest man who ever lived. I can guarantee it.
All right, I will take you up on
Third only to Christ and Mr. Rogers.
Okay. I think I would have to put Weird Al in there somewhere.
Okay.
I have this theory that Weird Al is kind of the new Mr. Rogers.
Huh. Interesting.
But he's like the Mr. Rogers of the next age group. So Mr. Rogers was very nurturing to our, preschool and grade school ages. We all kind of watched him.
Mm-hmm.
We all felt loved by him. And then when you get to middle school, you start developing humor. Maybe it's bad humor, but it's humor nonetheless. And one of your entry places, maybe not you, I don't know. You seem pretty tepid when I brought up Weird Al. But Weird Al is definitely, for me, big influence on like middle school Jamie humor.
I guess you could say I'm tepid on him. But that's because I didn't really have a strong connection with him at any point. I think I owned maybe one of his albums at one point.
Yeah.
I think it was largely because he was covering songs that I never really listened to, and so I didn't get it.
Yeah. Speaking of covers, see, we're never going to get away from this. This is the topic of the night. This is our plagiarism talk again.
Yeah. Although, a different version of it.
Yeah. I knew, actually, a lot of the pop songs that I knew about growing up were because he covered these songs. Like, I didn't know the original version. I didn't know Like a Virgin. I was a dumb kid. Who would know that? But I knew Like a Surgeon. That was a great song. And I don't know what it was. I don't know. I just remember a couple years back, there was kind of a Weird Al resurgence. And there was an article that I read about how kind of wonderful and loving his shows are for his fans, and it seemed really warm, and it seemed like he had spent all these years kind of cultivating his craft, art, if you want to call it that,
Yeah.
for the love of his fans and, you know, making people happy. And it just it sounded pretty wonderful. I'll send you that article. It was a New York Times write up on him.
I did love his stint on the TV show Comedy Bang Bang. That was a pretty great stint.
Yeah.
But that TV show is genius in general, so
yeah.
So Jamison, I've got a parenting question for you. Yeah, we're jumping back on the parenting bullshit.
I love to go there.
Oh yeah. It's about all we talk about these days. We're truly dads in that way.
True dads.
What is you and Kira's discipline technique? Or what will it be? Because I mean, Hazel may be a little rebel, but I assume he hasn't quite reached the level of needing to get a quick hand to the face or something like that. But what do y'all have plans on how you're gonna keep him in his place, shame him, discipline, punish? Choose your favorite adjective.
Yeah, I feel like there's two categories, right? So you asked me this earlier, and I'm actually very grateful that you kind of revealed this question to me because I don't know. I mean, most of my answer is I don't know, but you're right. He's not at that stage yet. But there's little inklings of, teaching him this is going to be a struggle. Like he has started discovering outlets.
Yes.
Yeah. So the plan right now is to keep the outlets away from him as much as we can. But that's a problem because the outlets are stationary. You can't really move them. And some of them are below him at this point. So this is a problem. So I guess I split it into two categories, like I was saying. One is when he causes some sort of damage, and we can step back and think about the punishment, right? And he's not in any sort of immediate damage or immediate danger. And that one, I don't really have like a plan right now, other than
I don't think most parents have a plan when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Probably
it's mainly just like keep them away, unless you're like Jeff Foxworthy, and then you're like, sure, oh, you found the outlet, oh, you have a quarter, huh? Oh, you're gonna stick it in there? All right, give it a shot.
give it a shock.
Oh, it didn't feel too good, did it?
Well, I think there's some wisdom in that in small doses, right? Like
when it's not actually going to like hurt them.
Yeah, when he was learning to kind of go downstairs, we have some low stairs, and he was like, I just want to go head first, right? And you're like, no, you're gonna tumble, and it's gonna be uncomfortable, dude. And then you let him tumble a couple times, and then he's like, oh, never mind, I can go backward.
Yep.
I can do it the correct way.
Good. I'm happy to hear this, Jamison. I'm glad that you and Kara are not helicopter parents.
I mean, I don't know. I do worry somewhat about turning my turbines on.
Every parent worries about it to some extent, But the simple fact that you haven't allowed it to go full on at this point means that there's a pretty solid hope that you're always going to be riding that line.
Okay,
Because
good.
we were the same way. Like we went into it not wanting to be those parents, but you're always like you're gauging the risk.
Sure.
Like, is this what kind of damage is this going to do to them? And if it's going to be significant, then we'll be helicopter parents, whatever. But if we're like, yeah, it's probably gonna hurt, may have some blood, maybe, but it's probably something he needs to learn. Like, we never were concerned about him falling off of a chair or something like that. Like, because he'll be fine.
Yeah,
quite well, actually. So.
Absolutely. And I think I spend more time kind of worrying if I'm judging the situation correctly than trying to communicate to Hazel if he's judging the situation correctly. Because, I don't want to be in the situation where I didn't see the car coming, or something like that.
Yeah.
So I think I'm more willing to yell in those moments when I feel that there's danger coming.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also judging how dangerous something is.
Yeah.
And then
but that's not what I'm really concerned about. It's when he starts talking back to you and like biting and hitting you and saying you're stupid and shit like that. That's what I want to know about. Like, so, basically, I want to know how quick you're gonna like slap him upside the face.
Well, he bit me on the chin. This was a couple months ago, and I definitely like flicked his chin off, and I didn't feel good about that. So
but
I was
it
like,
out of anger that he bit you?
It wasn't out of anger, and it was more out of actual pain how I responded.
Gotcha.
So
I mean, but was his bite out of anger?
No, it wasn't out of anger. Then, it was out of discovery.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah. Okay.
He just wanted to know how my chin tasted.
I mean, yeah. I mean, don't we all?
Yeah. But I think my plan, it's not an action-oriented plan towards discipline. It's to practice patience and to in these situations kind of recover from an immediate reaction. So that's why this is in like category 2.
Yeah.
Recover from the immediate reaction and then go from there. I haven't really thought about what's beyond the go from there or what is the go from there stage, but it will probably involve discussions with Kira, some sort of plan. But my hope is that I'm able to add gobs and gobs of patience to this as much as I can. So,
well, that is actually a very wise thing to say.
Okay.
Because as you and Kira, I'm sure will find is that no matter what you try, either it's not going to work or you're going to fail at it.
Yeah.
So, because I am currently dealing with many of these things, trying out different things, and so far, they're not great.
Yeah. I was about to say, this question seems to have come from a place of hurt. Blake, will you tell us where Seamus has touched you?
Well, can I get a baby doll?
Yeah.
Yeah, Seamus has gotten into this habit. We've been trying to get him to. So he started climbing into our bed. There for about 3 weeks, 4 weeks maybe. He would sleep in his bed for 2 or 3 hours, and then he would come in the middle of the night and jump in our bed, and he would sleep there for the rest of the night. which was fine. We were surviving. We were all trying to get sleep. So no judgment. But on some level, we were like, we got to nip this in the bud somehow. So we got him his own mattress. It's on the floor. It's like a full size, so he has plenty of room to, like, you know, jostle about. And we've been trying, basically, we got a full size, so at least one of us could sleep in it with him, worst case scenario. But while except for one night, someone has slept in that bed with him the whole night. But the actual difficulties have come with going to sleep. And his unwillingness to do such a feat, which has included biting and or kicking and or hitting and or grabbing with his nails my cheeks and things like that. So it's one of those things we've had to try to figure out. My wife sent me a episode of podcast to listen to, and the advice that the woman is giving is really sound, I think, but actually enacting it is thus far damn nigh impossible for me. So
yeah,
it's like this idea of, like, you don't want to, like, shame them, you don't want to judge them, because they can't control those impulses, and that makes sense. They can't control it. Like, they're acting out of reaction, like it's that animal lizard brain.
Sure.
Makes sense. But in the moment, I'm like, cool your shit, bro.
Yeah. Lizards are usually
Go
a little
to sleep,
more
motherfucker.
yeah.
In the words of
more
Samuel L. Jackson,
gentle.
go the fuck to sleep.
Yeah. Do you guys have that book?
Yes. And I cannot read it and not, like, just gasp for air, because it's just hilarious. And the older they get and the more troubles you have with that, the funnier it is.
Well, I'm sure we'll bring it out again. Kira's parents got it for us.
It's awesome.
When we were complaining about sleep. So
no, I was asking it out of curiosity as to whether or not y'all had a grand plan that was going to fail ultimately. And I mean, hey, I'm willing to believe, I'm willing to hope that there is an answer out there, that there has been a parent that has had an idea, has followed through with it, and it has worked 100%. I'm willing to believe that there is such a thing. I just have yet to see it.
yeah. Well, okay. To be fair to half of the parenting unit of this household, if you were to ask this question to Kira, she might actually say she has a plan, because she is a planner. Yeah. I am not. I am very much a winger. Kira gave me multiple books to read about child development, and I read a couple chapters, so I am not
of one of them.
Yes.
I think that's better than I did.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I sometimes feel guilty, but then I also sometimes wonder if science is right in this context. I know science is right in this context, but how much information do you need?
What version of science, though? I mean, most of what we know about childhood development has only come in the last 50 years. So, I mean, there's been plenty of wisdom before 50 years ago that worked just fine.
And I think that's part of the problem, is when I say something like science is right, What I'm really saying is that we've definitely solved some problems, maybe not with parenting, but with at least keeping children alive. And so I give some credit to science. But at the same time, what you're saying is that all of these studies and all of these books written, I mean, I'm putting words in your mouth. I don't know if this is what you're saying, but this is...
No, it's exactly what I'm saying.
Projection of... Yeah. It's too much. It's too much information. It's a glut of information, and they're saying different things. There's not a coherent, consistent narrative out there. And it's just
and it's also super Western oriented.
Yes.
There are plenty of cultures around the world that do not give two shits about the crap that we read about in childhood development books. And they're just fine.
Yeah. No. I mean, I'm sure there's some value, but I don't know if there's enough value for me to constantly be worrying about it and it to consume absolutely everything in my life outside of what Hazel is already consuming in my life.
Yeah, exactly.
There
you go.
That's how I feel.
Yeah, that's why we're friends.
Good.
We're similar creatures in that way.
I feel validated. I feel seen, Blake. Thank you for seeing me.
I can see you, but you're not seeing me.
So. No, I see you're making the
I froze and then I turned off my camera and I now cannot turn my camera back on.
Oh.
I can't even actually end the call.
That's good. I don't want you to end the call.
Well, I wouldn't want to, outside of rejoining and hoping my camera worked and whatnot, but...
You know what, Blake? If it makes you feel any better, you're frozen in the most fuck you smug face that you can imagine.
I think I know which one you're talking about because I saw it right before I turned on my camera. So
yeah. So this is I think this is a boon for you. I think you can do it.
I'm gonna win. This is a winning attitude. I like it.
Good. I mean, that's what podcasting is all about, is winning against your co-hosts.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I know we're running up against our usual bullshit amount of time, but Jamison, as a person who's done work on capital punishment and prison systems and stuff like that, man, this whole Kenny Smith Smith? Is it Kenny Smith? I think it's Kenny Smith.
There's two
situation that is pissing me off. Specifically around the fact that they're using a method that is untried and untested and not even ethically sound with animals.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Jesus Christ, like, what is going on with you people? And then the Supreme Court had no issue with it.
Well, so I think there's two cases right now, high profile ones. There's one from your state, Oklahoma,
which is not surprised because we were one of the first ones to put the idea of this approach into our laws.
Well, and I think it's so weird because I think your attorney general has already said, like, oh yeah, we shouldn't kill this man. But he's still having to appeal at the Supreme Court level. I don't know. That case is weird, but he seems definitely in a more safe position than this other guy in Alabama who you're talking about, Kenneth Smith.
Yeah. Who is set to die tomorrow as of our recording. So by this means of and so just to give people some kind of extra textual context for your host here is I gave up all social media. So about the only news I get is anything that pops up on the headlines and any browsers I use, or if my wife tells me something or a friend tells me something, or I just don't hear about it. And the only reason I heard about this today was because I was listening to Brunig's podcast,
Mm-hmm.
and she mentioned that she was going to this execution to report on it.
Yeah.
And I looked it up, and I was absolutely repulsed by what is going on there. I mean, just like it put a whole shitty like end on the day for me. Like I just couldn't not think about it.
So you mentioned Brunig. Have you read her book yet on this?
I haven't read it. Like I haven't actually read the book itself. I've read a lot of the pieces, or at least 3 or 4 of the pieces that form the book. So
yeah. So I got the book. I still haven't read through all of it, but I've been reading chunks piece by piece.
mm-hmm.
And one of the things that she talks about too is just so lethal injection was kind of the big accepted route of how to do things.
Mm-hmm.
But the weird thing is since we started doing executions by lethal injection, it's become harder and harder to find those chemicals and secure them. And a lot of states have been doing back room deals for this
isn't
stuff.
that because a lot of the companies can't deal with the liability behind the use of the chemicals? Yeah.
Because the companies
and so they have
don't
to do those backdoor deals to...
Yeah. And that's part of it is, the companies are like, no, we're not going to give you things that you're going to use to kill people. Like, we don't care. That's just not what our company is about. And so they, the companies are about killing people through debt and stealing money and stuff like that. They're not about killing people through their products like that.
Yeah.
At least not
it's not good branding.
Not U.S. citizens, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Anyway, not to give the corpos too much credit.
Of course, if you come out of prison, you no longer have the right to vote. So, are you a citizen? I mean,
man,
yeah.
Don't get me started. But so the states are like, F this, and a lot of, I think one of the Carolinas is set to use, or maybe it's Utah. I'm sorry, I'm getting my states mixed up. Some states are set to use firing squad again. They're just like, okay, yeah, we're just gonna shoot people, which weirdly might actually be more humane than lethal injection. I don't know. I've thought about that. I've thought about like,
as long as they did that whole like, blind, like not telling the shooter which one has a real bullet. That whole, like, because they used to line guys up and they would only put a real bullet in one of the guns.
Well, and
they wouldn't tell the person. Yeah. That way, no one actually felt the full amount of blame for the death.
That's insane to me that you continue through this process, but you have to take these, like, the psychological damage it does to these people. I've even thought, like, why don't they just use a guillotine? Like, if it's sharp enough, it's going to succeed and it's going to be over in an instant. That seems way more,
Although,
I think
there have been stories of some guillotine problems, but
oh yeah. No, and I don't want to be come out as pro guillotine. I'm not saying that. I'm anti capital punishment. But
within the big scheme of things, I mean, I would say I'm pro guillotine.
Sure, yeah. that sounds better than nitrogen gas, which is
Yeah.
what Alabama has decided to solve
Yeah.
their lethal injection problem with. And
it's all about the mask. The mask, the whole situation is less about the gas itself. It's more about making sure that there's a tight enough connection to where no oxygen can get in and make the suffering of the person that much worse than it's already going to be. That's the big issue.
yeah. Well, also, I mean, you sent me this article, and one of the things that it talks about is that vets don't even recommend using this for animals except
for
pigs. And I wonder if that has something to do with what you're talking about, where like the
Yeah.
pig snout somehow allows them to get that seal.
Yeah. It would make sense. I mean, if you think about it.
Yeah,
But-
I'm not an expert on that, but that is one thought.
Yeah.
Man.
Well, I didn't mean to bring it down. I just would be remiss to not mention it because it has literally been in my thoughts ever since about 3:00 this afternoon, whenever I first heard about it. So,
Yeah, no, it's outrageous. I mean,
yeah,
the blood is on everybody's hands at this
Yeah.
point, and the inhumanity is on everybody's hands. And I think it's not like we don't have tons of blood on our hands by being part of a state that causes wars and stuff like that. But I mean, you'd think that in something like that, I don't know, capital punishment generally gets on the ballot, and we decide on things. And you'd think that Alabama would have the guts to put it on the ballot and explain it to their voters, but they're cowards. So
Yep.
I'm gonna say that.
Amen to that. Amen. Well, what do you say we talk a little bit about Jimbo? Yo, Jimbo!
Yo, Jimbo! Yeah, let's switch it up.
Yeah.
So Blake, I asked you
Death
to watch.
by sword. I mean, that's not a bad way to go.
Well, especially if you're talking about the deaths by sword in this movie. Yeah. So
Which are
so
almost
Blake,
instantaneous.
instantaneous, and they run the gamut between completely bloodless to
splatter on the face.
spraying everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. I definitely want the former.
Yeah. Well, so I chose this movie. I'm a big fan of Kurosawa, but I actually haven't seen as many as tons of film nerds. So this was actually a hole in my watch.
Oh wait, you haven't seen this?
No, I had seen it,
Okay,
but not until a few months ago.
gotcha.
So
okay,
I had watched it recently, and one of my kind of related to this, one of my 2024 year goals or resolutions is to watch all of Kurosawa's movies.
yeah, buddy.
By the end of the year. So I've got some ways to go, but I like this resolution because it feels, I don't know, I like it more than losing weight or getting in shape or whatever. Yeah.
Two
I don't
things
know.
you really don't need to worry about, Jamison. So
Yeah. Well,
why don't you
like,
stick that up your ass?
No. I don't know. I was trying to think of normal things, or learning a language, or all of these ones.
Why would I do that? English is the best.
That's true. Yeah, I guess I don't need to do that either. But it
Can't
also
you just speak this language.
it also felt like something that was an accomplishment, watching. I think he has like 50 movies or something like that.
Does he?
Yeah.
I mean, I knew he had quite a few, but I didn't realize it was that many. Which makes me wonder why he's so touted for whenever you're that like prolific, and yet you have the profile that he does within the film world.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the odds are just not good. Like, there's a world in which every single one of those movies is just phenomenal, but I highly doubt it.
I think what makes him so phenomenal, though, is 60% of those movies are great.
Yeah.
And 40% are probably not as great. Whereas
and
even
about
like
and about 20% of them are absolutely classic, memorable films.
yeah, and so I think that's why he lands in that top tier.
Yeah,
and this is opposed to someone like Hitchcock, who I think definitely has that 20% up there.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, it's actually pretty hit or miss. And in fact, a lot of his earlier movies before he came to Hollywood aren't very good. And he ended up remaking them as better movies too. Yep. And so you have, I think he even probably outdoes Hitchcock in consistently great film. But we're here to talk about Yojimbo.
Yep.
And I chose this movie because I had a lot of fun with it. Actually, I think in the oeuvre of I'm not saying that word.
The
oeuvre of Kurosawa's movies, this is definitely one of his most playful, one of his funniest, kind of cartoonish. It has,
but in all the best ways.
And it like toes the line up to slapstick. It doesn't quite cross that line. It's not. There are slapstick moments, but it still maintains a very pure samurai film. So it's very, very cartoony, very, very fun. There's humor, in spades, but it still kind of like keeps a good, strong samurai story. So I just had a lot of fun with it. Thought I would share it. What did you think, Blake?
And you really like the soundtrack, right?
Well, the soundtrack, to kind of get into that, is so tied to how you experience the film too.
Yeah. Which is funny because I listened to it probably 4 or 5 times before I even watched the film.
Yeah.
And I had never seen this film before. So I went into the film probably thinking this is going to be a lot of fun because I kind of dig the soundtrack.
Yeah, the soundtrack is really good. And I would say it's one of the more memorable ones, but I think part of that is it is built to be a companion with the film. I was actually thinking about this earlier, and I don't think you see this as often in comedies or dramas or character-driven movies so much anymore. I think you see this in like action movies where it's almost like a ballet type thing,
or
where
sports
the music,
films,
sports
like
films,
inspirational sports films.
Exactly. But there's always usually a lot of action going on screen.
Yeah.
Not that there's not action going on in Yojimbo. It's a samurai movie. It's a ode to westerns, and it's an Eastern Western itself. But there's also slow talk moments in the film, and you watch people walk here and there, and the music is still kind of playing with it and yeah,
And there's only like 3 themes
yes,
that play over and over again throughout the soundtrack, but they play in differing like speeds and with different discordance, and like, but they're always recognizable whenever you hit. You're like, oh yeah, okay, so we're back to the more slow paced like version of the opening theme, or and like you there is very few moments on the soundtrack that don't call back to one of those themes.
yeah,
Whenever they don't, it's usually more discordant percussion.
yeah. Can I
Chaotic, this like percussion.
can I read? So on Wikipedia, there's a little blurb from Michael Wood, who's a film writer or a soundtrack, guru. I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
but there's some commentary on the soundtrack that I actually really really digged, and I'm just gonna read the last 2 sentences for this. So this is Michael Wood on the Yojimbo soundtrack, and for context, the main character in Yojimbo's name is Sanjuro, so he mentions him in this. So the music, it's distracting at first, then you realize it's not decoration, it's commentary. It's a companion to Sanjuro, the sound of his mind, discordant and undefeated and unserious, even when he's grubby and silent and apparently solemn.
Oh man, that is beautiful.
Yeah, and
it goes exactly with some of the thoughts I had.
Oh, cool. So, Blake, I mean, I think you've tipped your hand that you enjoyed this movie at this point.
Yeah. Like damn near adored it.
Oh, my heart is full hearing you say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to really like put a gun on me to watch a Mifune film. Everything I've seen him in has been just phenomenal. But like, I mean, I'll say my only other Kurosawa film to have seen is Seven Samurai, which most people who know Kurosawa have probably seen. I've seen it 3 times, and I appreciate the film more than I like the film. And so I was expecting another version of Seven Samurai when I went into this, and then I looked at the time and it was only 1 hour and 50 minutes, and I was like, oh, okay, so this might actually be a little bit different. I was expecting another 3-hour crawl. I was like, okay, gotta batten down the hatches. Get ready for this. And so whenever I saw it was a spunky little short flick, I was like, okay, let's do this. I really like this film, and part of me thought that I probably would after I had really start to love the soundtrack, the pluckiness of the soundtrack, and I love highly percussive soundtracks. Ones that do discordance with percussion often. I love it because I'm always trying to figure out if and when it will come together. And there is tons of that on the soundtrack.
Yeah.
This kind of like discordant percussion in the background, and then like I couldn't tell if it was a bassoon or a saxophone that plays a pretty significant part in some of the themes. It sounded like bassoon. Some of the woodiness of it sounded like a bassoon, but I couldn't tell for sure. But there's this kind of low, kind of either bassoon or sax sound there that is going with the discordant percussion. I'm just like,
Yeah.
what is going on here? Is this like actually going to mesh at some point? And then all of a sudden it does. And I'm like, oh, that's some good shit right there. I can get down with this. And it's the same fucking thing with this movie. I mean, I spent the first 45 minutes of this movie like, what the fuck is going on? Like, does this movie have a point? Or are these people just like watching the world burn? Like,
Yeah.
what is going on? And then I started to see it. I was like, okay. I see what's going on. And then at that point, I was able to sit back and be like, okay, I'm gonna enjoy this insanity
Mm-hmm.
of what's happening here. Yeah, no, I dug it. Great pick.
Good.
It's a hell of a way to start the third season.
Yeah, the third season, and I when you brought up that you wanted to kind of cover soundtracks with movies, or at least do a couple like this is the one that popped to mind, because I had seen it recently and it fit that bill for me, where the soundtrack was enough of a character in the film to really bring that up and kind of fill it in. So
yeah, no, that makes sense.
So Blake, this movie has an interesting start, right? You've got this lone samurai kind of walking wherever, and he picks up a stick, throws it into the air, and the stick tells him where to go.
Yep.
Do you have any thoughts on why the element of randomness?
Well, I mean, this actually plays into a connection I was making in my head, something that you should be well acquainted with at this point, with the current book that you are reading for the book club, which is Blood Meridian.
Okay.
So, were you able to make it through?
I'm not done with it yet.
Okay. But you've read enough to get a clear depiction of the judge, right?
Yes.
Okay. So the judge is the main connecting point for me. And it is tied to not necessarily the randomness, but the chaos.
Okay.
So in the sense that I would say that is, the judge is largely a chaotic negative or a chaotic evil in Blood Meridian. I would say that our protagonist is a chaotic good. And I think in the sense that he's less concerned about it's hard to explain because there's an element of it that is pure enjoyment on his level. Like he does like to see the world burn to some extent.
Yes.
But the principles and the goodness are what went out in the end. Like if he has a choice, he's always going to help somebody. And so his amusement over, and there are several times where he notes how watching something happen is amusing to him. Takes place, and you're like, okay, all right, this guy is clearly not a Western hero in the sense that he's like this, like principled, like Ayn Randian, like do-gooder, basically.
Yeah.
No, this guy is he's out to do some fucked up shit. But when it comes down to it, he's going to help the people who actually need to be helped.
Sure.
Like, damn the system. Like, it's like, oh yeah, those people don't actually have any power in this situation. I'm going to help them, but I'm going to watch these rich motherfuckers turn against each other, and I'm going to help them out. And so that's what I'm seeing almost a mirror version of the judge in this character.
It's interesting, and again, I haven't gotten to the end of Blood Meridian, so I actually am a little more behind than I should, but I think there's a part where the protagonist of Blood Meridian is hearing about the judge, and he asks, what is he a judge of?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that question is kind of haunting the book.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to wheedle out the answer to that, because for the most part, and this is something you said about Senjuro, who's the protagonist of Yojimbo. Oh, I want to point out the word Yojimbo means bodyguard, which ties in
yes.
to the central chaos of the movie.
Yes. Yeah.
And then one thing you said about Senjuro is he observes.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a defining characteristic about the judge that I've seen so far, is that he is an observer and he is a collector of observations.
Mm-hmm.
And this is very much, I think at one point he even says that things don't exist if he's not there to bear witness to them.
Yep. And that is one of the most terrifying passages in any kind of literature I've ever read.
No, because when he delivers it, you feel like he means it. So it's interesting, and so that is a good connection there, because the first thing Senjuro does when he comes into town is he goes to both sides of the rival, and he walks up to them, and then he walks away. And then he goes to the town watering hole, and he gets the rest of the information about what's going on.
Yeah.
So he collects and he observes. But I will say, he doesn't stay in that state of observation. He makes a judgment on what he's going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Then and there. Actually, well, he orders some sake and says he thinks better when he drinks.
When he's drunk.
But he spends time thinking about this, and you get a sense that he knows what he's doing. And even though there's chaos, you think that there's wisdom behind it, or at least you hope.
There's an end game.
And then there's a point in it where you clearly see, oh, this guy cares for those who are powerless in this situation. So
yeah. And there's a point in which you see, oh, maybe he doesn't have an end game. At least the end game is not working out as he has planned it.
Yes.
And I think he recognizes that his plan has become more complicated when let me remember his name.
Uno Toro.
Unasuka,
yeah. It's Ushitora
comes to town.
Yeah.
Or comes into the picture, and he sees him for the first time, and he's like, oh, no, this guy plays chess too.
Yeah.
and at that point, I think he's okay. Shit. Now I actually have to I have to make moves. It has become it has moved from checkers to chess at this point.
Yeah.
And it comes to a point where you're actually not sure but what he might have gotten checkmated.
Yes.
And you're like, "Oh, okay, what is happening now?" And that's why I say he's a chaotic good, because I don't actually think whenever you're a chaotic good, it means that when it's in your power, whenever the chaos favors you, you have the goodness of others in mind.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean that the chaos will always favor you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes it means it's going to kick you in the ass,
He
which
definitely
it does to him. So
he definitely plays pretty fast and loose in in his messing with both sides.
mm-hmm.
And I think you're right. There's no one who's his match. When he first gets there, there's a bunch of tough guys, but they're not smart. They're just brawn. There's even
you should talk about one of your favorite scenes.
Oh man, yeah. So one of my favorite scenes. Well, there's so many good, funny scenes. Like when he first walks into town, there's this playful music playing, and then all of a sudden this dog comes by with a human hand, and it's just
exactly.
He just looks at it, and there's so many fun characters that just pop out of the woodwork immediately. There's this completely ineffectual sheriff in the town, who is just trying to sell him to the highest bidder and take a cut of that. There are these rival mayors who are just these completely useless old men who one of them just plays his prayer drum hoping that there's peace. And then there are these two we already mentioned the shop, and the shop owner is kind of the guy who is Yojimbo's helper. I mean, Sanjuro's helper throughout the movie. But he has this rivalry with the casket maker, because when the gangs are fighting, there's more caskets to be sold and the casket maker is happy, but no one goes to the restaurant anymore. But when there's peace, maybe people will come to the restaurant and he'll get business. So it's funny to see those rivalries. But I think the scene that you're talking about is pretty early on in the movie. Sanjuro is trying to establish some sort of physical dominance, or at least fear-based dominance. And he goes up and he kind of confronts these three gamblers. I think it's for Ushitora's side at this point, who, just to give context, they're these rival gangs, but they used to be together in one kind of a Yakuza branch. But the head of it wanted to, instead of giving power to his right-hand man, give power to his son and kind of keep it in the family name. And then the right-hand man broke off and forms his own. Yeah. So Sanjuro goes up and he just kind of talks to these guys, and they try to show how tough they are by all of their tattoos, and one of them has this big dice on his face, and they just look like goobers. And then Sanjuro handles them handily, no pun intended. So
Oh yeah, yeah. No, that's a great scene. I mean, there's so many great moments in this film, and like it's meta without being meta. Um,
Yeah.
like the fact that he just finds such amusement in seeing like the silk shop burn down, or
Yeah.
um, I'm trying to think of some of my favorite lines, like at the very end where the he's defeated, like the gangs have taken each other out, but he's finished everyone off that was left over. And he says, "Well, the town's a lot quieter now."
Yeah. He
I was like, yeah. And there's a world in which that was what he was aiming for from the beginning.
Yeah.
Was he said, "There's a lot of noise, a lot of talking in this town that needs to be silenced." So,
Yeah.
yeah, it was. I mean, it's interesting because, I think this is why the sound, like you were saying with the soundtrack works so well with it, because it plays with those same ideas. Especially like I'm not always like listening to soundtracks apart from movies is not often very entertaining to me.
Yeah.
But whenever a soundtrack captures me and like actually becomes its own thing, I pay attention to what it's doing. And at that point, I'm like, then I can see the connection between the movie and the music. Otherwise, it's just set dressing for me most of the time. And so when I listened to that soundtrack and then I watched the movie, I was like, that's fascinating how whoever composed these pieces like saw what was going on in the psychological elements of this movie and was like, let's fuck around with that a little bit. Let's see what we can do to kind of bring that element out. It's brilliant. Like
I know. I wish they were still around to ask, because there's almost like a chicken or the egg element to the soundtrack and the film too, where it's like, what came first? Like how does it synthesize so well? And maybe the answer is they worked on it in conjunction, but I don't know, And I'm sure there's some film history book written about it, but yeah, no one's got time for that.
No, and I sure as hell don't know. I remember when I gave you the idea for picking movies based on soundtracks, I originally was like, oh, we can just talk about the soundtracks, like basically like judge the movie by its soundtrack. And I was like, yeah, but I suck talking about music. Like I'm not good at it. Like, and so I was like, we just need to mention the soundtrack, and if something interesting comes up from it, like we talk about it, but largely we're talking about the movie. I had to backpedal a little bit. I was like, I'm getting ahead of myself here. This is not something I can accomplish.
Well, I think this was a good intro into that, because this was an example where the soundtrack was a very important part of the movie. So listening to it and giving it space to kind of live in our minds, I think prepared for the conversation that we're having right now, and it allowed us to kind of discuss it. I don't feel like the discussion's been bad or you've been terrible talking about it. I think you did well, Blake. Bravo.
Yeah, but that's also because I really like the soundtrack and I actually paid attention to it. Most of the time it's just like I have it on in the background, but I'm not really like listening to it.
Well, let's not choose shitty soundtracks to cover on Flyby Films.
No, we're not going to.
I think that's the solution to your problems, man.
Yeah, well, we're gonna try it. We're gonna try it at least the first couple.
Yeah,
and see how it goes. I mean, I feel like this was a good first entry into the catalog, and I think the second one's gonna be equally good.
All right.
In completely different ways.
Ooh.
Completely different ways. so, um, and so yeah, I mean, I just found myself just being overwhelmed by this concept of this. What does a chaotic hero look like?
Yeah.
Because really, at the end of the day, no one is a principled Ayn Randian, Nietzschean Ubermensch. Like, no one lives up to that. Like, no one is the quote unquote, pure hero. Everyone is a chaotic, negative or positive or neutral or whatever it may be, at some point. And so, part of me is just like, this is what doing good in the world looks like. It's basically playing chess to the best of your ability and hoping that you get to help out the people you need to help out.
This sounds a lot like the where we landed on parenting, right? Which is
Pretty
like
much.
you play chess with your kid until they're about to fall off the edge, and then you go and yell at them to get back.
Yeah, you're like, hey, bro, just move this piece.
Yeah.
That'll block me.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it is interesting because I think that question, what is his? You mentioned this. What is his goal? Really kind of haunts this movie. I mean, haunts maybe a strong word. It's not that terrifying. I think the end is kind of haunting. There are scenes at the end that are haunting in this movie and can be described that way, especially like when how the mayors resolve their conflict, and then like you said that the line, well, the town's a lot quieter now, which is just so hilarious. But I think that is a central conflict in the movie, which is, or central question, which is what does he want? Because he plays both sides so much during the first half and just fucks around. You're like, I wonder what is he going to find out?
You get the sense that he's just in it for the money at the beginning.
Kind of.
Like he's just trying to raise the price.
Yeah.
Like basically. Like who's gonna be the highest bidder?
Yeah.
But then it turns around and you're like, oh, okay, all right.
Yeah. And
something else is going on here.
I think your connection to, I'm appreciating so much all of the connections that you've put together, because if you know a little bit about Kurosawa, he was so inspired by 1930s, 1940s, 1950s Western movies, and he loved those, and he brought that into the movies. And so in some senses, Yojimbo is a Western. It follows a lot of the beats. Stranger comes into town, and he's a mysterious tough guy. They're bandits and whatnot, and there's even standoffs. The only difference is there's only one gun in this film. Not all the characters have guns, and that one gun is it's definitely attached to the evil character. So you see you see it associated with evil and almost dishonor in a way. But it definitely hits all of the Western beats, and it's almost commentary on that, because in those early Western movies, you had a lot of the good guy characters, straight and narrow, always, this is the virtuous Western hero.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
this, he's good. By the end of the movie, he's good. But he's not straight and narrow.
No.
He's wide and wobbly.
That is beautifully put. He's not straight and narrow. He's wide and wobbly.
Yeah. But yeah, so he and the connection to Blood Meridian too is equally kind of a commentary on weird on the like Pollyanna-ish Western. It goes a bit darker, I would say, but yeah, you have these two kind of commentaries kind of fighting back or just responding in a way to this idealistic version of the West.
Yeah. Well, and there's an element of Cormac McCarthy's Western is in many ways kind of I mean, this is not the first Western to do this, but the one that was in my lifetime, the first one I experienced was Unforgiven, where the Western became not so much about the hero comes to town and saves the day. It's more about what is the cost to the hero for the violence that he does.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, you're like, okay, well, on some level, Cormac McCarthy, there's viable arguments to be made that he enjoys the violence a little bit too much at times.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's very clear that he's making a very stern point about the cosmic implications of the violence we do. And I think that's why the judge is so terrifying to me as a character, is because it's almost like he is the unbridled anthropomorphization of violence, of human violence. And he observes it, and he's amused by it in his own way. Just like our protagonist in Yojimbo is like, he's amused whenever he sees injustice not necessarily corrected, but paid against those who are enacting it.
Yeah.
Like you're seeing similar observation, like you said earlier, but also amusement at something, and so the judge is amused by the evil, and Mifune is amused by maybe not a principled correction of justice or principled justice, but at least a righting of a wrong, and even if it's vengeance oriented. I think there's something there. Like, I think the judge likes to see the world torn apart, and whereas the other character is like, he's amused at seeing what it takes to stitch it back together. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Because the stitching back together still has violence.
That's true.
Because you can't fix a broken world without some violence on a level, on some level, because it's already torn apart. You have to sew it back together, and so the sewing of it is its own type of violence. And so,
well, and sometimes you got to dig out the tumor,
exactly,
which causes
yeah.
more pain. I think there's something to this idea of amusement too, that kind of reflects back to us, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think I find myself in the minority as I'm reading this book, because I actually think that there's a lot of humor in this book.
Oh, it's yeah.
I think
I think it's pretty easy, and I think that people have made the case it's a dark comedy. It's just really dark.
I don't even know if I would go that far as to say like it is a comedy. I think it's very comedic in a lot of ways, and I think I think Cormac McCarthy is a good enough writer to where he doesn't necessarily need to say like I'm making a comedy or I'm making a drama or I'm making anything like this, and he can weave in these things, and I guess that's what I'm picking up. But just I don't want to go on a rant about the book club, because I know some of the people in the book club listen to this and they're not here to defend themselves. But I take that stance that there's a lot. I even think that kind of the central idea of bandits driving out savages in the name of civility, which maybe is not everybody's goal in that. I don't think it's the judge's goal, but a lot of the political officials in that book, that is their goal. They hire these group of bandits to do this. I think that's kind of a funny concept, because it ends up biting them in the ass, and they end up, these heroes, these bandits come back as quote unquote heroes and tear up the town and just destroy everything. Yeah. And there's a commentary on that. But I think this idea of amusement is interesting too, because we were discussing in the book club the play of violence, and I was saying, it does seem over the top to me. And I think some people pushed back and said, no, it seems horrifying. But I don't know if that gets at it either, because there's this central role of amusement in it. Yeah. A lot of the people that I'm in this book club with, this isn't their first time reading this book. We're not repulsed by this thing. We're actually pulled towards it. And in the same way, Sanjuro, I keep wanting to call him Yojimbo because it's such a fun name.
That's been my problem the whole time. I can never remember Sanjuro.
Sanjuro, I think he likes watching these people beat them. Like, it's fun. It's interesting. Yeah. It causes drama. And there's a bit of us that we're thrilled by that, in a sense. Yeah. And it's disgusting on one hand, but I don't think we're horrified enough. Like, it's back to that parenting. Like, how do you allow how do I allow Hazel to kind of crawl up to that edge and look over and get and I know he's getting that thrill, looking over the Grand Canyon, and trust and allow that he's going to stop before something terrible happens. Yeah. Before it's infecting him to the physics of it all.
Yeah, exactly. Well, but I think McCarthy and Kurosawa are good enough artists that, yes, they don't have to know what kind of film or book they're writing, but they are asking the question of, oh, are you amused by this? Why are you amused by this?
Yeah.
And I think that is the investigation that both Kurosawa and McCarthy are doing. I think you're right to say that there are some humorous elements to Blood Meridian, but I think what McCarthy is not doing it for shits and giggles.
No.
He's saying, why are we amused, or why do we find this humorous? Like, what is it about this that like you said, draws us into it?
Yeah.
What is going on here? Like, he's both Kurosawa and McCarthy are asking us to know thyself.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, to stand back and say, my first reaction to this piece of prose or this scene was this. Why? Why was that my first reaction? Well, that takes introspection to pull that apart. And that is different for every person, why they are horrified by something. The same scene or the same piece of prose can horrify one person and make someone else chuckle. And so why is that? Why? What is going on in each person's psyche and background and context and all these things that causes that reaction? And I think they're smart enough to know that that's what they're after. They're giving us complicated characters in order to make us think about why we are either rooting or lambasting characters or the actions that they do in the midst of these grand narratives they've concocted.
Yeah, and
that's the work of a good artist, in my opinion.
And yeah, I ultimately think that's what makes, something like this more compelling than not to throw shade at something like High Noon, but it's a little more compelling than that. At least, yeah, it's more interesting. So
there's a fantasy element to movies like High Noon.
Yeah.
There's a putting ourselves and basically putting ourselves in the best light and saying, oh yeah, I would definitely be Gary Cooper or whoever it might be, Clint Eastwood or pick your John Wayne, the king of them all. But that doesn't require introspection. That's fantasy. But finding a hero or a villain that is chaotic enough to where we don't always recognize the good or the bad that they're doing is enough to make us question, okay, why am I repulsed by this decision or this person in this moment? Or why am I applauding this choice or this character? I think that's infinitely more interesting than a fantasy.
Absolutely. Wow, Blake, you did it. You really opened this up.
Well, I mean, it wouldn't have happened if you hadn't picked it.
Yeah.
Because I watched this damn movie and I was like, oh yeah, I am pumped. I am ready for this shit. Man, bring it.
Good. Oh man. This is starting our third season off right. Loving it.
Yeah. I'm loving it.
Okay,
but it's way better. It's way better than McDonald's.
Yeah. Definitely spend your eye calories on Yojimbo rather than McDonald's.
Definitely. Well,
all right.
Do you have anything else to say?
I don't think I have anything else to add. I think I think that's about it.
Beautiful. Well, it was good talking to you, man.
Good talking to you too.
All right. Bye.
Bye.